The rain had been falling all day in Seattle. Emily Carter sat by the window, watching the drops race down the glass. The sound was usually calming, but that evening, it only echoed her unease. Her husband, Mark, had left early for a week-long business trip. The house was too quiet, too empty. Emily tried to distract herself by working on her latest interior design project, a modern living room with soft beige walls and oakwood furniture. She turned up the music, poured herself a cup of coffee, and tried to focus. That's when her phone buzzed. Ryan Miller, the name flashed across the screen. She froze. She hadn't seen Ryan in almost 15 years. Back in college, he was the kind of friend everyone admired, confident, funny, and a little reckless. They had stayed in touch for a while, but life moved on. She got married, started a family, and left that chapter behind. Greater than, "Hey, Emily. It's been ages. I'm in town for a few days, thought I'd drop by and say hi." At first, she hesitated. It didn't feel right to invite another man over while Mark was away. But Ryan had been a close friend once, and it felt harmless. "Greater than, sure," she replied. "Just for a few minutes." She made another pot of coffee before he arrived. When Ryan showed up, he looked older, but his easy smile was the same. He brought flowers, a small gesture that seemed innocent enough. "Greater than, wow, Emily, this place looks amazing. You've still got the touch," he said, glancing around her living room. They talked about the past, about college, friends, careers, how life had changed. Emily laughed more than she expected to. It felt good to remember who she used to be, before deadlines, bills, and routines. But as the minutes stretched into hours, the air grew heavier. Ryan started to compliment her, her hair, her eyes, how she hadn't aged a day. Emily felt uncomfortable. She stood up and began clearing the cups. "Greater than, it's getting late, Ryan," she said softly. He smiled but didn't move. "Greater than, you've changed, Em. You used to be so spontaneous." Her heart raced. She realized she had made a mistake by letting him in, even for a minute. There was something in his tone that reminded her why they had lost touch in the first place. "Greater than, I think it's time you go," she said firmly. Ryan finally nodded, grabbed his coat, and left. The door closed behind him with a quiet thud, but the echo of regret stayed. That night, Emily couldn't sleep. Her mind replayed every moment, the conversation, the way he looked at her, and the uneasy feeling in her chest. She hadn't done anything wrong, but it felt like she had crossed an invisible line. When Mark called from Chicago later that night, she couldn't meet her own reflection in the mirror. "Greater than, hey, honey. How's everything at home?" "Greater than, good," she lied. "Everything's fine. Days passed, but the guilt didn't. Emily avoided telling Mark, not because she had done something terrible, but because she didn't want to see disappointment in his eyes. He trusted her completely. Then one evening, Grace, her teenage daughter, walked into the kitchen. "Greater than, Mom," she said quietly. "Who was that man here the other day?" Emily froze. "Greater than, you saw him." "Greater than, yeah. He was standing really close to you. I didn't like it." Those words pierced her heart. Even her daughter had noticed. Emily sat down, tears welling up. "Greater than, Grace, it was just a friend. But you're right, I shouldn't have let him in." Grace nodded, not saying anything more. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words. When Mark returned a few days later, Emily finally told him everything. She expected anger, or at least cold silence. But Mark simply listened. After a long pause, he said, "Greater than, you didn't betray me, Emily. You made a human mistake. You let loneliness open a door that should have stayed closed." She burst into tears. "Greater than, I'm so sorry, Mark. I didn't mean to make you doubt me." He took her hand. "Greater than, the only way we lose each other is if we stop being honest. Thank you for telling me." From that day, Emily promised herself she would never let loneliness control her decisions again. She deleted Ryan's number, blocked him on every platform, and moved on. In the weeks that followed, she and Mark grew closer than ever. They started having breakfast together, walking in the evenings, and sharing stories again, like they did in the early years of their marriage. Every time the rain fell, Emily remembered that night, not as a story of infidelity, but as a lesson about trust, temptation, and honesty. Ending message. Greater than sometimes the greatest regrets come from moments we think are harmless. A single choice can change everything, but so can a sincere apology and a heart willing to forgive.